Hey guys, what's up? Yes, it is Sunday, the 27th of February, the last Sunday of the month, and it is about 4:31 p.m. Pacific time. And yes, I do have the house to myself right now. My mom is visiting my sister, as she did yesterday, um, and because my sister invited her to try out some soup. And I normally would be there because I would have gone to church and everything. But of course, as you saw with the live stream I did last night, or early last night, I should say, around 6:30 or so p.m., which is ironic. It's almost 10 hours ago. I was waiting for my bus. Yeah, I was waiting for my bus to show up to take me home. And because I worked that day, and I did more than just cashiering, I did carts as well. It was one of those days where basically you needed a lot of hands on deck, if you know what I'm talking about. Um, but yeah, basically, like I said, I wouldn't be doing this right now. I'd be over there, but because I worked, I was just tired and everything, to the point that when I got home after I relaxed a little bit, and then my mom got home, I was already sleepy on the floor. That's how tired I was. I mean, basically I settled myself in, made sure my dog went to the bathroom and everything, and picked up the pads that we put down for her when we're going to be gone for a while. And then when I got home, like I said, well, not got home, but then after I did that, I should say, like I said, I got myself settled down, got some, ate some yogurt, didn't want to eat too much. Like I said, settled myself in, got my pajamas on, if you will, my comfortable clothes and everything. And then after a while, after being on the computer too here as well, I just decided to settle down and go, go out like a light. And I did. And I did that when she got home. I saw her when she got home. And then today, and then of course, I was in bed and everything, and that, um, and I was up. I was up. My body just didn't want to move, and then after a bit, I went back to sleep. So it's one of those situations to where you're up, but you don't want to move because your body is worn out, you're tired, and then eventually you just go back to sleep. It's kind of like with my mom. I guess I do take after her in some ways, because what she does on her days off is she'll get up around like 8:30, um, and she'll go to the living room. She'll turn off the light to the front porch, and then instead of staying up and everything, she'll head straight back to bed, and she'll go back to sleep for like another 3-4 hours almost. Well, 3 hours at most. But anyway, that's kind of it's kind of like what I was today. I was just tired and everything. And hold on for a sec. I gotta do something. Do something real quickly. Sorry about that. Just remembered I had to get my laundry out. Had to. I'm working on my laundry right now. The third part of my laundry will come later. It's not that much. It's basically the kind of part you do save for last and all that. But Yeah, like I said, my mom normally does kind of like what I do. She'll get up, she'll do something, and then she'll go back to bed. And again, I was up, but my body just didn't want to get out of bed. I mean, all I was doing was laying down, looking at my phone. Let's see, playing my Switch, if you will, and just just in relaxing, just went back to bed, and that's what I did. But yeah, um, but yeah, like I said, normally I'd probably be with her right now because if I didn't have to work on Saturday, you know, I wouldn't be doing this as I speak. But speaking of yesterday and even the day before, I did get paid. I did get paid, I should say. And by the way, just to let you guys know, it says in the description, super chats / super stickers are open and would be appreciated. Whatever you guys can do, $1 to $5, whatever you guys can do, be greatly appreciated. Would help me out in a big way as we head into March and all that as well. Also, if you want to help donate, otherwise Venmo at I have a Venmo account. It's at Brian-Walmer-2. And also have a Cash App account, which is BW Roses 98. Of course, you have the dollar sign before BW Roses 98. But yeah, it's BW Roses 98 at Cash App and Brian-Walmer-2 over at Venmo. And like I said here on the live stream, $1 to $5, whatever you guys can do for the super chats or super stickers would be greatly appreciated, especially going into March and everything as we speak. And like I said, I did get paid. It wasn't that much, really, because that's the one thing about these kind of jobs. When they're just starting you out and everything. It's kind of like you wonder exactly what you're going to get. I mean, they did have us fill out a survey for like the second time. They had us fill it out when we were applying online, but then of course they had us fill it out again of exactly how many hours we would like to have. And I said limitly, you could put me at 38 hours, which is close to 40. And I think one of my upcoming schedules, not the one for this week, but the following week, is kind of falling into that a little bit because I do work a little bit more on that week than I would normally at times. But what's interesting about the work schedule too is how as time goes on, how it's going to really affect us, if you will, at my job. Because one of the things going on at my job right now is basically, as I just make sure the camera's straight here and everything. Okay, it is. But one of the things happening at my job right now basically is a remodeling. And mostly it's being done at night, but I think over time the day is going to get affected as well. The reason I say that is because when I go to work now, there's a lot of the mini mobiles, if you will, a lot of the mini mobiles. I actually put a little short video here on YouTube letting you guys see that exactly what I'm talking about. And let me see if I can get my phone to show you this live. I don't know if you'll be able to see it well through the camera. Let's see. Come on, there it is. But like I said, it's basically going through a little bit of a remodeling right now. And let's see. Here it is. Here's some of the images. Again, I don't know if you'll be able to see this real clearly, on your end when you're watching this video. But that's kind of what's going on. You see those areas right there? That's kind of what's happening right now. They're kind of like remodeling, or not remodel, but they're kind of, getting all the mini mobile storage units, all set up and ready to go. And some of it's already on the way. I mean, some of the remodeling, I should say, is already in progress, although it's very unnoticeable because of the fact that it's not major or anything. It's not really major. Now, this is one way they were able to. Now, here's what's interesting here. They blocked out one of the areas here by using some of our carts to hang their caution tape around, or to basically they utilized 3 of our carts to put the tape on, the caution tape, because they needed to close those areas out due to the fact that they were bringing in mini mobile units, storage units to help out. And then of course we got more right there. That's like the That's good. We got more right there, and that is basically the main office. That is the main office right there for them. And again, like I said, there's more of a better look at it, more of a closer look. So yeah, when it comes to bringing in carts, it's not it basically it's not as it's not as um what's the one I'm looking for? It's not as long as it used to be. Well, what I mean by that, by saying it's not as long, it's like I don't have to go through another row or anything, because that row right now is blocked off due to the MIDI mobile storage units that they're using. Um, Now, again, we don't know exactly how it's going to affect us in the day. We really don't. All I know is over time, it may end up affecting us because, like I've said before, I've been here, done that with Walmart at times, to where at first it starts out at night and it doesn't really affect you too much. And then when it does, but when it does, I should say, then that's when you start to notice, things are really, changing. Like I said, when I worked for Walmart, they were doing a little remodeling, restructuring there for a bit, like taking out some of the regular checkouts, replacing those with a self checkout. And you didn't really notice any of that at first, but over time you would start noticing some things happening, and then when it started to really affect the day, that's when it really became more noticeable that it may not really affect you job wise, but it does it does it does get your attention, is what I'm trying to say. It does get your attention uh, basically along the facts of something is happening, something is changing as we speak. So yeah, I don't know how it's going to affect work or anything. I don't think it should affect work, very much. I don't think it'll affect, you know, work, at all. If you will, I don't think it'll affect work at all. But it is something to keep an eye on, because this store where I work at has been around for 13 years, and only now is it starting to get a remodeling, get a facelift, if you will. But right now it's very unnoticeable. But over time, like I said, I think you're going to start noticing a lot more of the changes going on. As a matter of fact, a couple of days ago, I think the guy in charge of making this remodeling occur in the store talked to some of the managers in front of the store, kind of explaining, okay, this is what they may have to do and what's going to happen and all that. So, yeah, you see little things like that happening, but you don't see you don't see the very noticeable changes going on until later on. But but basically you do see what's happening in everything, um, but very skewed, very what's the one I'm looking for? What I'm trying to say is you do notice some things happening, but very minusculous, very minusculous. That's the one I'm looking for. I know I sounded like I just rambled there. I do apologize. But very minusculeness. Do you notice things happening? But again, like I said, if you start really noticing stuff, it won't be till later on in the afternoon, and that's pretty much true. That's pretty much true. You won't start noticing things until, well, I wouldn't say later in the afternoon. Let me correct myself. Okay, what I'm trying to say is I was thinking about something else there too. I don't know what I was thinking about, but you won't. Well, yeah, honestly, sometimes you do notice things later on in the afternoon when it comes to that kind of stuff. I will say that, but you won't start noticing things until later on. Like when we get into daylight savings time in spring next month, that's when I think you'll start noticing more of the changes happening around the store, in and with within and without. If you catch my drift. Sorry if I seem to spaced out there for a moment. I was trying to think about what I was going to say, and then I thought about something else. That's on me. I do apologize. But anyway, and again, you could tell I'm still feeling the effects of working yesterday and being tired and all that, because as I said in the live stream last night while I was waiting for the bus, one of the things about the bus schedule that needs to needs to be fixed. And I think honestly, it's gonna, be fixed down the line. We just don't know about it yet. Is the schedule needs to basically be one schedule all the way around. It cannot be a different, route schedule from, for one day of the week over the others. It can't. I mean, I understand people want the Saturdays. I mean, honestly, with me, because of the bus schedule right now, I have every other Saturday. Like, I have every 2 Saturdays off, and then once in a while I'll be scheduled to work. But they do it within the course of, hey, this guy has to work within these hour frames, and that's the only way it's going to work out for him. And thankfully, they're good at doing that. They're willing to work with me on that. But it's more along the lines of, like I said last night when I did the live stream waiting for the bus. To me, I think honestly right now they're already talking about potentially changing things back to what they were before. Now, I can't really say that's true or anything. I can't really say that's true, but I think, over time, there's going to be some hints, maybe some, acknowledgments that something's going to change. And I think honestly, the bus drivers know something's going to happen. They're not going to come out and, tell the passengers right away, I have just in case you guys want to know, I have a feeling we might go back to the weekday schedules on a Saturday as well. They're not going to say that. They're not going to say, hey, I think we're going to go back to the weekday schedule on a Saturday as well. They're not going to say that because, even though they might have a feeling it may happen, they're not going to come out they're not going to come out, I should say, and let people know about it until they get some kind of confirmation on the side that it's going to occur. That basically this is what's going to happen and this is what's changing. They're not going to come out and let you know about that until they get some kind of confirmation themselves. Period. But I will say this. I'll be honest to God with this. When it comes to the bus over yesterday, and when it comes to the bus on Friday, when it comes to the bus yesterday and Friday, at least I did not have to deal with a certain driver. Thank God on that. And by the way, anybody joining me live right now, super chats and super stickers are open and would be appreciated if you could do it. Whatever you can do would be greatly appreciated. And like I said, Venmo at Brian-Warmer-2 is also another way you can help donate, along with Cash App at BWRoses98. But anyway, like I said, one thing I will say about the bus is that, I'm happy to, let you guys know about is I didn't have to deal with a certain driver that always seems to be delayed at times, or certain drivers that are in that way. Because yesterday, of course, I had a driver, of course, the bus driver that I've had for a while since I've been taking the bus, since moving here to Newman. She did the morning route that I had going to Turlock, as well as the route going back home. And then the person that took me back to Newman is a lady that obviously, understands where we're coming from, can work with us, is cool with us. And to prove it, yesterday, she was, well, I'll put it this way. On Friday, she picked me and anybody else up on the big bus, on the big standard bus, if you will. And hello to Hansen for joining me in the live chat. And again, guys, super chat, super stickers are open if you can help out in that direction. But anyway, whatever you guys can do. But anyway, like I said, the lady that took me home yesterday here to Newman, and on Friday, she got the big bus. I mean, I'm talking the bus that's like, it's not this size or anything, which I'll put. Let me see if I can get a visual example here. I don't know if I can. Get a visual example, but okay. Let's say my phone here is a mini bus. Okay, it's like a mini size bus. This is the size buses they're using now. It looks like it's got like the upper, like the front of it looks like it's part truck and all that. It's kind of like shaped like a truck up front, but it's like a little bit bigger in size than the regular minivans they do. Well, instead, on Friday, she drove something like, let's say this represents the big regular city buses. This is the one she drove. This is the one. This is the size bus she drove compared to this. Compared to this. So she drove this on Friday, which was really nice because I could put my feet up or my legs up to be comfortable. But then yesterday she drove this one. She drove the smaller one. But what was interesting is when she drove the big one, I wasn't too sure whether or not she could drop me off at Burger King. So I said, hey, can you drop me off at Merced and Eucalyptus, which is where I've been normally dropped off at, depending on the driver. And she's like, okay, no problem. But what she had to do is she had to go straight down the rest of Merced. She had to go all the way down to the end of Merced and then turn to get onto Eucalyptus to drop me off at its location because she was driving this bus. She was driving this size of a bus. But then yesterday, when she was driving this one to pick me and anybody else up over at the Patterson Park, the Veterans Park, if you will, I was still wondering maybe if she would drop me off at Burger King or anything. And I didn't say anything. Because my intuition was, okay, if I'm the only one here, I'll say Merced Eucalyptus. Not a problem, right? Well, I had a couple more passengers with me, and two of them had rode the bus with me before. And these two, and that was my stomach growling there. And these two were the ones that jumped up and said, hey, can you drop us off at Burger King? And she said, no problem. And as soon as I heard that, I'm like, okay, I'll let her know that goes for me too. And she was cool with that too. So yesterday, instead of being dropped off at Merced and Eucalyptus, she dropped me along with those two ladies that requested that. She dropped us off at Burger King, which I was cool with because that's what I'm normally used to. I'm like, okay, this is good. This is good. After everything I've gone through with this bus over the past couple of days and week, I'm glad I'm finally getting something, in return. But yeah, she dropped me off at Burger King, which was cool. So I got to walk home from there. And I really enjoyed that. So that was all right with me. I don't know what's going to happen tomorrow night because I got to take the bus that's at 7-Eleven and it drops me off a little after 9, depending on the location. So I don't know if it's going to be one of those people that's like, hey, I'm not taking a chance. I'm going to just say Merced Eucalyptus. Or if it's the lady that I got yesterday, I'll be like, Burger King should probably have no problem. But it all depends on the bus she would have. Because one of the people that's been kind of reluctant about, doing the Burger King stop, yesterday, I was surprised actually got to drive the big bus as well, but in doing the Modesto route. And my thought is I'm thinking, that's a bit of a change. I wonder what's going on here. And I know it might be schedule-wise, like on the weekdays, certain people do this route, and then on the weekends they do, or at least Saturdays they do a different route. I get that. But I'm just curious if maybe other people have called in and said, hey, so-and-so has been delayed or so-and-so is not doing the courtesy stop because, they don't want to do it or this and that. I'm wondering if maybe something happened to change things up. I could be wrong, but we'll have to see. We'll have to see exactly, what the next step is, if you will, going forward. Just in case. Just saying. But yeah, I got to, kind of ride comfortably on Friday night. Got to get dropped off in an area that I'm normally like to be dropped off at yesterday. So it was cool. So I'll give the bus credit on that. But again, it's the scheduling that I think they really need to work on. It's the scheduling, like I said in the live stream, waiting for the bus yesterday, that they really need to work on. And like I said in that live stream, I think they are. I think over time, what's going to happen is an announcement's going to come out to where the buses are going to go back to the regular weekday schedule, which would include Saturdays being the same way. So instead of Saturdays being every 3 hours, like 6:28, 9:28, 12:28, and all that, instead they'll go back to the regular weekday schedule because that's more workable, not just maybe financially as well, I should say, for the trans development people, max people, start people, or the stand, the stand transit association, Stanislaus County Regional Association, but also for the passengers, because that way, people get on the bus, they can get to the locations when they need to get to them, and not have to, worry about waiting. And I think honestly that's going to happen. Just right now, I don't know when, but something tells me that the head honchos in charge over at, at this, the Stanislaus Regional Association, Regional Transit, are talking it over. They are talking it over to make it happen. And I know, honestly, I know that a lot of folks, especially the drivers, will not be too thrilled about it until maybe they get the nod, I should say. I'm trying to hold on, let me get something to drink here. But I think over time, the people will, or the drivers, I should say, they may not like it at first, but I think when they get the notification and they get the explanation as to why it's being done, they will slowly accept it. They'll be like, you know what, it does make more sense. Because here's the thing. They sometimes have to go down a route that, okay, let's say I'm driving, I'm one of the drivers, I'm driving, and I'm like, okay, I'm doing 628, gotta drop the person off at certain locations at times, right? So I go there, just driving, and then when I'm done, I have to drive back, to do the 928. But here's the thing. I have too much time on my hands. So what am I supposed to do? Well, some would say if you live close to the vicinity, just go home. That's a good idea. Go home, relax a little bit for maybe an hour or so, get back on the bus, restart the route, and be done. Some would say, well, maybe go back to the office, see what you need to do training wise, see what happens there. That's a good idea too. But still, it's like there's too much time in between. I mean, let me ask you this. If let's say if your job said, okay, you start at 6:28, and then you're going to break at 9:28. But we won't need you back from your break until 12:28, and then at 3:28 you take lunch, but we won't need you back till 6:28. What sense does that make if you have that much time on your hands? And let's say your job's in an area that's not that close to where you live. What are you supposed to do? Shop till you drop? Sleep? Well, sleep might be a good option, and all that. But I'm just saying, the scheduling doesn't make sense when you get down to it. It really doesn't make any freaking sense to me, which is why I believe, honestly, over time this year, because honestly, they're still going through a transitional phase, that I believe before this year's out, an announcement's going to come down to where the Monday through Friday schedule will now also migrate into Saturday. So that way everything is, on the same page. There's no 3 hour, there's no 3 hour difference and all that, in the scheduling for one day. It's all on the same page, and everybody just goes from there. Now, and like I said, I know honestly, the drivers may not be thrilled with that at first, but once they probably get a better explanation as to why it's happening, they'll be willing to go with it. So to me, I think over time, the buses will change. But I'll tell you, I mean, waiting for the bus last night, it was okay, but you could definitely tell, as I said in the video, you could definitely tell that even though it was a little after 6:30 and you still had a bit of daylight going on, that you could definitely tell that and I say it with all due respect again here, like I did last night, you could definitely tell that was a time when the weirdos were coming out. And not as much as they would when it's real dark and real late at night or something like that. But I'm talking like literally, at a time where, they know it's getting dark. They know, the night is calling for them. The night is calling them for them to emerge. But it's not as bad as it would be late at night. Like I mentioned, like an example I used is the kind of like stranglers. kind of like stranglers, like loose things here and there. They're kind of like that. They're just like loose out and about, but not as badly as they would be when it gets later at night. But you can definitely tell. You can definitely tell that the weirdos were coming out. There was no doubt. If you want a good example of what I mean, there was a guy that just, walks around at times and everything. For example, it's like I get off the bus. Right? So I'm off the bus and I'm walking. I'm walking behind the restrooms just to check my phone. And this one guy, he just goes to the other side. And he's like, and then just goes back this way and takes off. And I'm thinking, okay, what was that? That was weird. And then later on, I see him again, but this time, and hello to Zach G E in the live chat. But like I said, later on, I see him walking. He puts on his hoodie or whatever it is, walks across the grass on the park, and then I see him running from like the other side. He's like this, and I'm thinking, okay, what the hell? But you see what I'm talking about, right? Even though it was 6:30, there was only a very few strangler weirdos, if you will, out there. Not much, but kind of like I say, loose carts being stranglers, out and about, but not as bad as what they would be, when it really gets dark and everything, but they were still there. You could tell, and it was just kind of strange. It wasn't bad, but it was kind of strange because, like I said, this is an example right here where the bus schedule really needs to be more on top of what they do. They need to be more on top of what they do, and I think they realize that. I think they realize that it doesn't make sense to have a 3-hour difference on a Saturday compared to an hour and a half to an hour and 40 difference on the weekday. So I'm just saying. But yeah, it was interesting, and hopefully I won't have to do that for a while. Hopefully. Because I could say this. I'll tell you this honestly. If my mom had not been invited to that crab feed yesterday by my sister who had an extra ticket, she would have visited, no doubt, but then she would have probably saw the time thinking, okay, Brian's probably showing up. I'm going to go over to the park, pick him up, and that's the end of that. Or she probably would have sent my brother-in-law to come get me and then take me over there. But that didn't happen. It didn't happen. So instead, I just had to wait. And again, it wasn't too bad because here's the thing. The one safe thing about it is there was cars driving about, people walking about, cars driving about. So if anything suspicious would have happened, they would have noticed it, and I would have basically yelled real loud that something was going to happen. That's the truth. And again, to anybody joining in the live chat right now during this live stream, super chat, super stickers are open and would be appreciated. Whatever you guys can do, $1 to $5, whatever you guys can do, would be greatly appreciated. Venmo at Brian-Warmer-2 is also open if you want to help donate there as well. And Cash App at BWRoses98. And also check out the Teespring store as well for items there that I think you will enjoy. But speaking of items, like I said earlier, I got paid from my job, and I did get a few items this week. I really did. One of the items I ended up getting for my mom, basically, it was actually a couple of T-shirts I got for her as well, but I don't know if she has them. Here we are. But yeah, I got her these. This is a Minnie Mouse shirt that I got her. And then this is it's called Dog Mom on there because of our dog and everything. So I got her that. Because one, she likes to wear Minnie Mouse, especially with the great granddaughter. And then I ended up getting her this. We only have two. We had three at one point, but we only have two right now. The one that's mostly in stock is the Blanche character. This is the only This is the only Dorothy one left, so I still have to get Blanche for her. If it's, still there. And then, of course, I got her this as well with the recent payment. So yeah, I got those items for her. But then you're probably wondering, what did I get myself? Well, the thing is, because my checks haven't been that big just yet, I've been kind of careful about what I'm getting and everything. But what I did get, I think I have it here somewhere. Ah, here we go. I did get this. I did get the $7.99 3-month membership for Nintendo online, so that way I can, go online and play some games. Which now, because of that, I've been able to reinstall. If I can find the button here, here we go. I've been able to. I don't know if you can see it there. Reinstall those two, and then of course there's the Tetris 99 and other ones as well. But then I also bought the Encanto soundtrack. Bought the Encanto soundtrack. It's a Target exclusive. It's got a poster in there. You can feel that. You can feel that it's got a poster in there. That's pretty cool. And really, that's about it. One thing I did finally figure out, because I'm thinking, okay, why couldn't I use it the other day, which would have saved me some money and all that, was my Target Circle. It's like, what exactly happened there? Well, not my Target Circle, but my Target red card, I should say. I was wondering what happened here. What's going on with the red card here? And then, it dawned on me that there has to be something, kind of amiss, right? Okay, because I'm thinking, okay, why can't I use this on Friday, right? So I'm thinking something's amiss. And as I'm checking people out yesterday, because I was doing cashiering for a while, as I was checking people out, I noticed a lot of people that were using the red card were skipping the red circle. Anytime they were using the red card, they were skipping it, and I'm thinking, wait a minute, I've noticed a lot of people do that, since I've been there when they use the red card. What's going on? And then it dawned on me what was happening. It dawned on me what was happening, and that is, and I Googled this as well. I Googled this during one of my breaks to be like, okay, why can I do this? And it dawned on me exactly what the reason was. When you have the red card, whether it's credit or debit, for Target, you can't use the red circle. You can't type in your phone number, which would bring up your red circle, because it's already there. You already have the red circle applied to it when you get the red card. So it confuses the system. So when you don't use the red circle, when you skip it, and you just go with the card, whether it's on your phone or it's the card itself, then you're pretty much okay to go. Discount works with it and everything. As far as I know, the discount does work, and everything else is cool as well. So there's nothing really amiss. And and the way I was able to finally figure that out is basically when I got myself a snack during break, but also when I shopped yesterday and I only paid. Oh, this is not the one. This is the other one. This would have been a lot less had I done it correctly the other day. Where's the other one? Where's the one I had? I don't know where I put that. Where's that receipt at? This it? Is this it here? No, that's not it either. But whatever it was. Wait a minute. This might be it. No, that's not it. That's my first check. No, it's. What's this it? No, like I said, it's the other one. But mainly, what it was is that yesterday, the Encanto soundtrack. I'll put it this way: the Encanto soundtrack in my job was $11.99, and with my discount and the red circle, I got this along with the $7.99 a Nintendo Online, which combined you would say $7.90, like $12, $8 is $20, right? And then along with a Pepsi, like about this size, I only spent about 17 something. That's right. I saved $5 yesterday with the red circle and my red card and my discount. So $5. That's pretty good. That's pretty good to save about $5 with that over time. But yeah, it was. But yeah, I was able to finally figure that out because, like I said, I knew something was amiss. I'm thinking, okay, why am I not being able to do this? What's going on? And then, like I said, that's when it dawned on me. That's when it dawned on me exactly the reasoning. The reasoning being the fact that, like I said, you cannot use the circle program that you have if you have the red card because it's already part of that to an extent. But you can use your discount, so it's kind of like tit for tat kind of deal. So basically, it's like, for example, let's say this is the screen. Well, this is not big enough. Let's say, okay, here's the switch. This is the screen basically where they would tap in, like the card number and everything when they're using it. Well, they would tap the card, beep, because it has that Wi-Fi like symbol on it. You go beep, and all that, or they would slide it, like this. But normally, but basically, the point I'm getting at is I realized you cannot, insert your number in there, your phone number for your circle, because it will throw the thing off. Like I said, it will throw it off. It'll be, unusable for a bit. So now I've kind of pretty much figured that out of, okay, I don't need to do that. I don't need to do that when I'm using the target. So when I'm using the red card because it's already there. That was my mistake, if you will. That was my mistake. But yeah, those are the things I got, along with the other stuff I mentioned that I got beforehand, like the charger, the cable charger, the power battery, if you will, the portable one, along with the Encanto movie and stuff, as well as the book, The Jesus I Know by Cassidy Gifford for my mom, stuff like that. And if you're one, and for anybody that's wondering, well, when are you going to really splurge? When are you going to hit that moment when you're going to be like, this is it, I'm doing it? It'll be soon. It'll be really soon because, like I said, this week's, not a big week, but last week was okay. Last week, this previous week was okay, so I was able to work enough hours to where I believe the check's going to be big enough for this week anyway. Because I think what it was 19, and then I did 4 hours yesterday. So let me calculate this, because it tells you exactly how many hours you've worked up until that moment when you clock in. So I did about that many hours. I don't know if you could read that. I don't think you can unless the thing goes down. But 19 hours 55 minutes is what I did. So when I add in 4 minutes and 14 seconds, 4 hours. When I would say 4 hours, what would it be? Let's see, 11:30, 11:30 to 3:30 is 4 hours. There's no doubt about that. And then 45 more minutes is 4 hours 45 minutes. So I add in 4 hours for 45 minutes. Let me make sure I get that right. 24 hours. I did 24 hours. Then I times that by the 15 or whatever it is I'm making. So times that by 15. I've already made 360. So that's not bad. Now, the hours I have upcoming, basically, according to the schedule, is I'm trying to six. I think it's according to this. I'm gonna probably have to log in. Maybe. Yep. Hold on for a sec. Oops, didn't want to do that. Gonna tell me it didn't work. Of course. Add in one more. There we go. Okay, so it tells me that the schedule right now I have is for 6 hours and 50 seconds, and then 6 hours period on the other one. So I've got about 12 hours and 50 minutes. So when I combine 24 plus 12 hours 50 minutes, that's 36 hours 50 minutes. And when I times that by 15, it's pretty much close to 550. I'll put it that way. Pretty much close to 550 in the check. But then they take stuff out. They take an amount out, so it could be back in the fours before I know it. It could be back in the fours before I know it. Now, depending on how big the cable is, which it shouldn't be too big, I'm going to take care of that, because here's what's interesting about this upcoming month, and I'm going to get into the channel update in a moment because I know it's almost been an hour. But here's what's interesting about this upcoming month. You see, I get paid on the 11th, I get paid on the 25th, but 4 days before the 25th, I get paid by YouTube. YouTube will be paying me as well, which is, another reason why a lot of people like myself come out and say, hey, super chats, super stickers are open and would be appreciated. Whatever you guys can do, Cash App, Venmo, Venmo at Brian-Walmer-2 and Cash App at BW Roses98 are great ways to help us out. But when it comes to YouTube, they take what I'm making this month, and then they take what I made last month, and they combine it. It's not like a December or a July where things really pick up. It's mostly that time frame where for a while it's like every other like month and everything, or every few months. It's like it's like basically I know going into March, that month is still up in the air, so I don't know exactly what happened there. But March and April, if I don't do much there, but it's enough to get me up into the hundreds, it will roll over into May, so I'll get paid extra there. The thing is, like I said, I don't have to worry too much about not paying the cable or anything, because I'm still going to have money rolling in. In a sense, I'll still have it rolling in, and for what, I don't know what's going to happen in March. I mean, me and my mom, obviously we got to do our taxes soon, so we're going to get that scheduled and taken care of. And that's the one thing about YouTube too. I mean, I know YouTube's doing the tax thing now, but I don't know exactly how that works. I know there's royalty fees or something like that, so I don't know how they work things out for us. Like, okay, how does this work? Where does this line up when it comes to taxes? Maybe you guys can let me know in the comments as well as in the live chat. But it's one of those situations to where this could be a good financial quarter for me down the line, especially when it comes to paying bills and catching up with them. But anyway though, like I said, they do take taxes out, so whatever it's going to be and everything will be up in the air. Now, what's interesting is there are available shifts. Now, I'm not going to do Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday or anything like that. No way, because I might be too tired and everything. And sometimes the available shifts are more along the lines of, in the evening, and I don't think that will work with, my family, mostly my mom, if you will. I don't think that would work with her. So we'll look at the available shifts. And Friday seems okay. That's a fulfillment shift. Tuesday is a fulfillment shift. That's okay too. Saturday, fulfillment. And they all work out right, and they all work okay, for except basically for Saturday. They all work out good. Fulfillment works good because at least that would be nice. But that's Friday. Here's the part about Friday. Not that I wouldn't have an issue getting home on Friday, but it's Friday, and you have to be careful and everything about what you do. Now, I could pick up some other hours as well to work out with that too. So I'm still considering it. I've not done fulfillment yet, and those are the openings. So I don't know if I'd be able to do that, or they say it wouldn't work. I don't know yet because I haven't had training on that. I haven't had training on the fulfillment. All I've done is front end of the store and cashier. So that's pretty much out of my realm, if you catch my drift right now. But yeah, I could do any time, down the line. So just because it looks like I may not get paid much doesn't mean it won't pick up. Like I said, the following week I'm doing 3 days. And who's to say the week after that I wouldn't be able to do more? You know what I'm saying? But they'll let me know. They'll let me know if they need me. That's the thing. They'll let me know like the day before, hopefully, if they need me to do things. I might even talk to them and say, I might even talk to them tomorrow and say, hey, look, I know there's openings for fulfillment, but, I haven't been trained on that. So, whatever you need, I will do it. So maybe they might train me. I don't know. Uh, but yeah. The thing is about March is I could pay half of the cable, whatever it will be, for that month, because I know they're going to add on. So I'll pay half of the cable, and then come, the payday for that week, the 21st and 25th, I'll pay the rest. It's not a big issue. Hopefully, unless of course they say, hey, this is the limit, then okay, fine. I'll take care of that. Not a problem. But again, this is why hopefully I can get the daily pay thing worked out, because right now it's not letting me do anything because it's stuck on Family Dollar Tree. I got to figure out how to fix that. I got to figure out how to fix that, because I'm like, well, how am I supposed to do it? It's not letting me do nothing, and I need money. And when I need money, I need it. I can't get to it, So it's one of those situations too. Well, right now I'll be okay, but over time, we'll see what they do. We'll see what they do. I mean, I'll say this. I'll put it this way. If my entire YouTube check goes to the other half of the cable, that's not a problem. It's got to be done. It's got to be done. But hopefully that won't be the case. But we'll see. We shall see. We shall see. But anyway, though, let's get into the channel update here. And we're doing this. If I do mark these, consider this marked at 54 minutes, 15 seconds. Let's get into the channel update for March. Guys. And as far as March goes, basically, like I said, it's going to be an interesting month because, the first Monday and Tuesday, of course, I will be working, but that's back-to-back days, which isn't a problem. But I will be working, and here's the thing about that. Even though I'll probably have enough time on my hands to do at least one video and get it out to you, somehow, maybe during breaks, maybe on the bus later that day or whatever. Um, Here's the issue about those. Okay, so my mom is going to be off on those days. The reason being is because she's going to go pay her respects on Monday to a friend of the family, my brother-in-law's mother's husband, who recently passed. She's going to go with my oldest sister to pay respects, maybe even before then go over to the cemetery where he's supposed to be laid to rest the next day, which is the same cemetery as my grandparents are laid to rest at. She's going to be off on Monday, and then she's going to be off on Tuesday, kind of, to not only to pay respects or anything, or not just to pay respects. I'm trying to say not just to pay respects on Monday, but to also kind of like, pay respects in her own way of, just staying home, recharging a little bit her battery and stuff, but also because of the fact that it's going to be a long trip. You see, she's got to go. See, what it is she's got to ride with my sister from Patterson to um, Hayward. She's got to go to Hayward, and And here's what's interesting about the time frame here. My brother-in-law's mom has it arranged to where she and only close family will be allowed to have a private viewing between, I think 4 and 5 or something like that. And then my mom, and my sister and anybody else, friends and family, or friends and other family, if you will, in-laws and all that, will be able to pay their respects later on, basically like an hour later. So between 5 and 8. And what that does for me is, even though I won't be able to go and pay respects, and, that might be for the best because, like I said, it might be for the best because of the fact that, of course I got to work and everything. And, somebody's got to be here in some capacity at a certain time, because I don't know what time she's going to come home. I don't know what time she's coming home. I know, like I said, I know it's between 5 and 8, and they might view, and obviously they're going to go to pay respects, and then afterwards they might even, go to lunch or something, like go to dinner, I should say. So I'm not too sure exactly. I'm not too sure exactly what she's going to do. And not do, but I'm not sure exactly. Well, I'm not sure exactly what she's going to do after viewing. Like I said, she may go to dinner and all that. But I think, as far as like getting home and everything, I think I might beat her to the punch, if you will. No disrespect, but I might beat her to the punch a little bit. And what I mean by that is, again, the private portion of the viewing for just family and and my brother-in-law's mom is basically between earlier times, like 4 and 5, 3 and 5, something like that. And for the rest of the public, like friends and family, it's between 5 and 8, or maybe even 9. So again, I don't know what time they're going to get back, honestly. I would assume that they're going to get there by 5 at least. And then afterwards, this is why I look at it. She wants to leave maybe earlier enough to go to the cemetery where, where the friend of the family will be laid to rest. But before, so that she can go and pay respects to her mom and dad. She hasn't been up there for a while to do that. And, that's kind of, I wouldn't say that's something that I worry about or anything, but, I'm just going to be, I'll put it this way. I'll be happy my sister and my brother-in-law at least will be there for her. because I've got a feeling it's going to get emotional, honestly, for all of them. So I'll be glad that at least someone will be there to to be supportive, because I know it's going to be emotional saying goodbye to the friends and the family, but I think it's also going to be emotional for her when she pays her respects to her mom and dad, because I don't know how long she's going to want to stay there. Like how long she's just going to want to just stand there, maybe kneel down or something like that or whatever. I don't know how long, but it's going to be it's going to be something that I know my older sister and my brother-in-law will let me know about. But again, like I said, I'm not too sure exactly what time they're going to be heading home afterwards. I would assume, again, this is just me. I would assume that between the time they leave, which my mom would probably leave here by, I would say a little after 2, maybe between 2 and 3. I'm not really sure. But you know, I know that after they leave the viewing and everything, after they do all they got to do, that they're gonna probably more than likely go to dinner. And I don't know if they're gonna go to dinner there in Hayward. They're gonna go to dinner in Tracy or in Livermore, or when they get back to Patterson. I'm not really sure. Um, but whatever they do, um, like I said, I got a feeling she's going to be home late, which is why she's taking the next day off, because it's going to be to me, it's going to be a big emotional day for her, and she's going to want to have a day to kind of recharge her battery, regroup herself and everything, because of what's going to be happening the previous day. I mean, I know I'd have to do that probably too, um, but again, I think it is kind of like for the best, if you will, that I'm here with that I'm here when I get here, basically to watch over the house and make sure nothing happens, if you will, um, even if it's for a few hours and all that, even for a few hours. Um, but yeah, but yeah, I don't know what I'm going to do on that evening. I mean, I know that what I may do, probably, just like tomorrow, is I may start up my computer, let it run, and tomorrow I got to let the update happen so I can just, let it go from there, um, and then and then turn it off and everything when I get home. But anyway, like I said, I know that maybe what I'm trying to say is what I'll probably do on that day is I'll turn on my computer, let it go and everything, and then when I come home, probably pick up the pads if they're down. She'll probably put the pads down. I'm not really sure, but pick up the pads, get myself comfortable, and probably maybe do a video. But I do have to work the next day, so that's going to be interesting in its own right. Because I think I do have to work that day. Let me check. I think I do have to work that day. Um, but yeah, it's going to be. Let's see. Okay, that's this week. Following week. Yeah, I do have to work that day. I have to basically do the same schedule Monday and Tuesday. So if I do anything, it might be a little early and everything. And yeah, that's about it. But like I said, she's going to be off on those 2 days because one, she's going to pay her respects, to the friends of the family, as well as, go and see her parents over at the same place. And then, like I said, because it's going to take an emotional toll on her and everything, I just feel it. She's going to, she's taking the next day off as well, because I also think she realizes not only is it going to take an emotional toll, but also she's going to be very tired and everything. She's going to want to, like regroup herself emotionally, as well as recharge her battery and all that. Um, and as I said, my schedule, for that week is I'm doing back-to-back days, same scheduling, same hours, basically, AM to a PM, if you will. But then on Thursday, I do basically about 4 hours, if you will. But the way it works out is I'll be taking, hopefully, what I'm going to have to do, this is what I'm going to have to do. And I did this the other day when I got off at 7, is I have to get my stuff and I have to basically beat feet, out that door. I have to beat feet out that door on Thursday, which would be, I think, the 10th. Yeah, it's the 10th. I have to beat feet that Thursday out the door, get my stuff out the door, go out the door and everything, get to the bus, because that bus comes around 3:56. So, so yeah, I'll be home before my mom and everything, but I have to really like beat feet out the door just to catch it, because what I have to do is I have to basically clock out, get my stuff, and go, and that's it. That is about it. But yeah, I have to literally like pew, beat feet out and everything. So it's gonna be it's gonna be an interesting week that week. Like I said, she's gonna be off the first 2 days, and then I'll have the then the day that she's not off and everything. The day she's not off, she goes back to work, is when I'm off, and then I work the following day, but only for a few hours, and then I'm off the rest of the weekend. So it's going to be an interesting day. And like I said, that week where I do Monday and Tuesday and Thursday, that's kind of like picking up a little bit. So that kind of helps out with the check when it comes to the 25th and all that. But we'll see what happens. We'll see what they got open. As a matter of fact, maybe that's what I should do right now, because maybe I could do, one of those days, if you will. But we'll see. Let's see what they got here. Let's go to the following week. Wednesday. Ooh, that's not going to work. Well, Wednesday would work, but not really. So Wednesday and Friday of that week are not going to work in my favor whatsoever. But I am working 17 hours 25 minutes that week, so that kind of helps out. Kind of helps out if you think about it. It kind of helps out when you think about it. But yeah, basically getting onto the channel update, like I said, March is going to be an interesting month, because, like I said, the 1st of March on Tuesday is my sister's birthday, but we're not really doing anything until the weekend. And then after that, we'll see what happens. But like I said, we're not doing anything till the weekend. Tomorrow I do work, like I said, Ed, which is the last day of this month, and then, like I said, on Tuesday, which is the 1st, I'll be off, and then I work Wednesdays, similar to tomorrow, but off by at least 15 minutes, unless they want to keep me 15 minutes more. So, that kind of works out, and then I'm off the rest of the week, which again, I don't mind, because I look at the fulfillment thing and I'm like, well, I could do that, but all I've ever been assigned to is cashiering and carts and all that, and that's about it, nothing else. So I don't know if they'd be okay with me doing fulfillment. I haven't been trained on that, but it would be an interesting run, if you will, for me. As far as like videos go and everything, I might have a topics on my mind video come Tuesday, because one thing I like doing on the days I have off is I like to kind of do some live streams if I'm up to it, or topics on my mind ones, because I can keep that going. So I'm probably gonna have a topics on my mind live stream coming up real soon. There is a song I'm gonna probably purchase digitally that is short enough, and I probably plan to do a Spike and Rarity, maybe Sonic and Sally video around, but mostly a Spike and Rarity one around, because it's one that has Carrie Underwood in it, and it's Josh Alden, I think, are singing it together. And here's the thing, at my job, or at any Target, I'm sure you guys are aware of this, they, they have the big screen in the back of the electronics area where the books are and all that. The electronics and the books are and everything are. And in the back of this area, like I said, in the back there, well, what I'm trying to say is, let me rewind. Okay. What I was trying to say is in the back of all the Targets, including the one I'm at, they have this big screen where they advertise a lot of stuff. They have the people that are behind some of the things that they're selling at the stores and all that, advertising it, talking about it, stuff like that, as well as they show videos, like, little short clips of music videos for songs on certain CDs and albums and all that you can get there. And the one they've been showing between Carrie Underwood and this Josh Allen guy has been one that when I've listened to it, I'm like, that's perfect for Spike and Rarity, or that's perfect for Sonic and Sally, or whatever, because it is. It to me, I hear that and I'm like, that's perfect for PMV or FanVid or whatever. So I do plan to do that in March. I plan to get back onto that real soon, even though I know with a lot of these fan vids and all that, PMVs, fan vids, AMVs, I know, and I'm sure a lot of you can relate with this, you can't make money off it. You can't really make any money off it, period, due to the fact that, again, as much as any of us hate to admit it, the people that created the song, the ones that are distributing the song, they have legitimately the first rights to making money off that, unless they decide, you know what, let's share the revenue with this person and go from there. But they don't. It's usually, hey, we're the ones that made the song originally. We're gonna make, or the ones that distributed the song originally. We're making the money, not you. But you could, but the silver lining is you can still have a video be viewed. End of discussion. So, so there's that. But like I said, I do plan to do another one of those, and that might be one of them I do. Computer, depending on its lifespan. It just has to do an update and all that, so I don't think that'll hurt it or anything. It's just one of those annual monthly updates that you just got to do, so that way it doesn't, say, hey, you're not doing an update for me. Do. Hopefully it'll be okay. And I might get a video out tomorrow before I leave. Who knows? Because even though I have to be on the bus by at least 9:15, I can probably get a video out to you guys in the morning, depending. I do have my alarm set, but I gotta set my alarm basically for 12 hours from now at least to get up and get ready for work. As a matter of fact, let me do that. Let me do that right now. Let me set it to where it's at 12 hours from now. And even, and I know you're thinking, well, why are you setting it for 12 hours? You're not going to be going to work till 9:15. Well, one, what it allows me to do is it allows me to get up, and it allows me to see my mom off, but also allows me to get the pads down too, so that way I can get that all out of the way and everything, and still have plenty of time. Because it doesn't normally take me that long. I mean, when I put the pads down and everything, it doesn't take me that long to do it and all that. And I could shower as well and, be ready to go and, still have time, if I plan it out right. But anyway, yeah, I do. Like I said, I'll probably try to get something out to you guys tomorrow, or maybe even the same way on Wednesday, but we'll see what happens. The only change that's going to happen in March is the fact that my mom will not be doing Bible study for at least a couple of weeks, from what I understand. What's going to happen is they're going to, I guess, take a break, going on vacation, or doing something. I'm not really sure. So instead of having the house to myself to at least almost 9 on Tuesdays, depending whether or not I work, she'll be coming home and as normal. So whatever I do on a Tuesday, if I'm off in March on one of those, well, basically what I'm trying to say is whatever I do on a Tuesday, depending whether or not I have that day off in March. I mean, I have it on the 1st, not the following week, but whatever I do, it's going to be up in the air of exactly what it's going to be up in the air what I do on those days. Again, because here's the thing, I don't know how long the break from Bible study is going to be, but I would assume it's going to be at least maybe till midway to March, because you want to build towards Easter, Resurrection Day. So I'm assuming that's what's going to happen. They're going to take a break and then start up again to build towards that time of the year in April. But for me, again, I don't know what I'm going to do. I might just end up doing what I do on a regular day when I'm off, and she comes home regularly. I'll just do that, and that's about it. That's really about all I can really think of doing. But besides that, there are other things I plan to do. Like I say, I'm going to try to do another AMV with that song that I mentioned, I hinted at. And I might also do some discussions. I know one series I want to get back to doing, I might even do it today, to get things up and running again, is the Animated Girls Profile Confidential. Haven't done it in a while because I'm trying to think exactly who could be next on the list. I think I have an idea of who it could be, but it's going to be really interesting to see how that works out. The other thing as well that I probably plan to do, probably today, tomorrow, Tuesday, is, again, depending on the update with the computer, which it should be okay, it should be fine, because it's just regular updates. What it is, it's just like regular updates of like, okay, this is what's going on, that's what's going on. Let's touch upon this. Let's touch this up. Let's touch that up. Da 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 da, and we should be good to go. But whatever the case may be, I do plan to I do plan to capture, maybe do a live one, maybe not, but try to video capture here on the computer some of the stories that I've read, that I've mentioned before, that I think you guys would like to check out and see yourselves. But again, not really much. But again, besides that, the other things that I probably have planned is a couple of package openings, maybe, as well as a few update videos, not channel ones, but like video, DVD, stuff like that. If things work out the way they should, if things work out the way they should, I should be able to get something up to you guys real soon. Not real soon, but down the line. Updates and everything. But again, also, like I said, package openings are going to be happening. I know that Frank Hill, it's Frank, has said he's going to be sending some things my way soon, possibly this week, all things depending. And, we'll see what he does. I mean, I know that my schedule for this week, it does open the door for that to happen, without problems, hopefully. And we'll just go from there. I mean, if he sends things out tomorrow, then I would expect Bobby to get them by at least, I would say, Wednesday, maybe Thursday at most. Thursday at the most, I would assume. But besides that, we just have to go by ear with it, because now that I'm working, things are a little bit more different. I mean, it's not stopping me from doing videos. I mean, as you have noticed, I will do a video wherever I have to, sometimes just to kill time. Like I mentioned earlier, when I did what I'm trying to say is, let me get something to drink here. I'm getting a little tongue tied, and it's getting darker too, so I'm going to turn on the lights here in a moment. But like I said, I will do, just because, have to play by ear doesn't mean I'm going to stop doing videos, because, as you saw last night when I was waiting for my bus, I will do a video or a live stream, depending on, where I'm around, or who I'm around, or depending on where I'm around at, basically the location and who's around, I will do a video or a live stream, just to, kill time. If, like, let's say I'm waiting for a bus, which most times I am, or basically because maybe, I'm killing time before I clock into work, which sometimes I am as well. I'll be able to, do a video, talk about something, and then if I'm allowed to, depending on the service, if you will, the provider, the internet provider, I can upload it to my channel. And the reason I say that is because when I would do videos, on the side of my job, on the side of the building at my job, of course I'm connected to the Target Guest Wi-Fi services, but I'm also connected, if I choose to the AT&T Wi-Fi from Home Depot. And that one, believe it or not, is more reliable on uploading a video right then and there if you choose to do it. And hello, Matt. Nice to see you in the live chat. And again, guys, super chats and super stickers are open and would be appreciated. Whatever you guys can do, along with donating over at Venmo at Brian-Walmer-2 and at Cash App at BWRoses98. And so again, thank you to those joining me in the live chat so far. But anyway, like I said, I will do a video wherever I have to do it. Wherever I have to do it, I will do a video, and a discussion, live stream video, whatever, depending, on the circumstances. Like I said, if there's nobody around or, whatever the location, whatever the case is, so I will do a video if I have to have some content to provide to you guys no matter what. Again, playing it by ear. When I talk about playing it by ear, it all depends on like how I feel after work, or whether or not I have time to do it, or whether or not I, like now, having the place to myself to do so. And of course, the equipment as well. Not saying a phone isn't good enough to help out. I mean, one guy actually got the Silver Award, the one that you get for over 1 million subscribers, which I hope to obtain soon. He ended up getting that because by mostly doing video content through his phone, which is pretty cool. But yeah, it's one of those situations. But yeah, March, I do have things planned, like I mentioned. I even, like I said, since I have the 3-month subscription renewed for this, if you will, for Nintendo, I might even, provide some content with stuff from that, all depending. And like I said, there's other things planned as well. As a matter of fact, I might flip through this and give it a review as well, because I think a lot of people would agree this had more of an Archie feel to it than ever before. But as well, let's see, as well as some other things to come up. Whatever I decide to talk about will probably come up and all that, down the line. But yeah, as far as March goes, that's pretty much what's going on. I mean, like I said, my mom's going to be off on the first Monday and Tuesday because of what I mentioned. Pay respects to the family, friends of the family that we lost, as well as also pay respects to her parents at the same place where he's supposed to be laid to rest the next day, as well as take off that following day as well, basically to, regroup herself from what I feel is going to be an emotional day for her, as well as kind of recharge her battery so that when she goes back on Wednesday, she'll be good to go. But yeah, that's what's going on there. But like I said, I still got things to do. Like I said, tomorrow I might try to get a video out to you guys best I can, as well as I might try to get a video out to you guys Wednesday morning before I go to work or hop onto the bus, as well as of course being off Tuesday, Thursday, and Friday. I have live streams probably planned for those, as well as package openings as well down the line. And of course, like I said, with the song that I mentioned that gets played over at my job, as part of an advertisement for the guy's CD, between him and Carrie Underwood, I might even do a PMV on that as well, even though I wouldn't be able to monetize off it. But that's really about it. Just to let you guys know, I might even, depending on if I order it, I might even do a review on AEW Revolution. And if not, I'll probably give my thoughts on it from what other people have talking about. I know that here on the YT, somehow, some way, people do put up the whole event of a wrestling pay-per-view and then get it taken off or something like that. So if I can get that, so if that happens and I can obtain it that way, then I might watch it, give you my thoughts as well. But yeah, that's something to look forward to as the month goes on. But yeah, that's pretty much it for the channel update, though, guys. Pretty much it for the channel update. And, really, that's about it. I mean, I will say this once again, as I've mentioned before, I do recommend that if you've not gone to deviantart.com, gone to Mr. Internet Man's page there, I would suggest checking it out. He has a character known as Demonica. It's a part of a Mystic Makeover series. It is a great series, and that from a story perspective, I think is done very well, because his character mostly is a girl named Veronica, freshly out of college, who mysteriously gets a package which contains a stick of lipstick on there, or contains a stick of lipstick that called Nightshade. That when she applies it, she becomes the mischievous succubus demon elf known as Demonica. And as Demonica, she can shapeshift into whatever girl she feels like shapeshifting into, whatever inanimate object or animal or fantasy creature she feels like shapeshifting into, vehicle, whatever, machinery, robot, whatever. As well as if she feels like it, she'll melt herself into a puddle of goop. I mean, she even has names for a lot of these main personalities she takes on when it comes to these things. Like she's Demonica default, if you will, when she changes into that. When she changes into a sultry seductress or mistress, she calls herself Monica. When she decides she wants to go liquidy, she turns herself into a form that's similar to her Demonica, sort of like a hybrid of Demonica and Monica forms, but it's more liquidy to where she calls herself Demorphica. And goes with that. And there's other things she does as well. A lot of her, and here's the thing about her character. Her character has become not her character, but yeah, here's what I'm trying to say is, here's what makes her character, the Demonica character, I should say, Demonica Veronica character, so popular with a lot of folks, because of what Mr. Internet Man has been able to contribute to her character over time. It's the fact that when you normally have a character like Veronica being given these abilities to shapeshift into whoever she wants, whatever she wants, melt down, become liquid, whatever, usually in certain stories, even if it's a one-time deal or it's a permanent deal, they just use that power to progress the story. Like if they're on a mission, they have to use the shapeshifting ability to become this individual or that individual or this item or this animal, whatever, or this liquid or whatever. And that's it. They don't do any more than what they're supposed to do with the power, and then they go back to normal. They just remain in the default human form or whatever. What makes Mr. Internet Man's character for Demonica / Veronica so popular with a lot of people that he's collabed with is that the character in story doesn't take having these powers so seriously. Mainly what she does is she has fun with them. She has fun with these powers. And what I mean by having fun with these powers is that in the earlier stories and even up till recently, she loves just to, when she has time on her hands, to become whatever she wants to become. And there's always this line where she turns into a certain object. Like there's this one line. Hold on for a second, I do something here. Getting a little chillier, so I'm gonna shut the window there. But there's always this one line where she will turn into something or somebody through a fusion or even on her own. But mostly there's a line she uses, and I think one of the stories is called "It Takes Two." I got to check it out, but there's one panel where she basically turns herself into a liquid. She basically pretends she's diving off a diving board off a bed. She basically dives off her bed like she's diving off a diving board, and she just goes splat, if you will. She just starts melting up, if you will, on herself until she's all liquid and flowing. And she mentions how she loves the feel of it, how it feels nice, soft, sensual, stuff like that. And then she has the line at the end where she's like, or towards the end, where she's like, I could stay like this forever. And it's not the first time she's used it. In fact, one of the other stories that the character was involved in was a collab with ARY01, which was a prelude to the, I think what it was, the big madness story that they did on their end of the spectrum. And she, along with another character he created that has similar powers called Rebecca, who, when she becomes her succubus, mischievous demon elf, her name is Exotica. So, long story short, Demonica and Exotica, you cross over with ARY01's characters in this prelude story. And what they do is after they've done what they've done, combined together and all that, they turn it into what is basically the Rain character, I think from Black Lagoon or something like that, or Evangelion. I don't know which one. It's called. Her name's Rain. And as this fused being, this merged being, she acknowledges how well all the attributes and personalities combined perfectly together into one, and that she's tempted to stay that way forever, but she doesn't. And whenever I hear that line, or whenever I read that line in a story, I'm always thinking to myself, wouldn't it be something if maybe Demonica decides, you know what? I'm always saying I want to stay in this form forever. What if I did stay in this form for at least maybe a day or a week? And she does. To me, and then she decides to do it. To me, that would be great character developing for her, because even though she'd be able to regain her senses, kind of reform afterwards, um, to me, you could tease the fact that she kind of over time, starts to lose herself until she realizes, okay, I need to get back to normal, and she changes herself back. That would be a great character developing moment for learning, or still showcasing that she still has a lot to learn about her powers, because she almost allowed herself to be lost to whatever form she takes on. Like, let's say Mr. Internet Man decides, okay, I'm going to do a story where she tests the water to stay in a certain form for a while, and she decides to go all liquidy, and she just floods her entire apartment and everything or where she's at. And then maybe a couple of days later, she hears a phone ring or something like that, and that brings her back to her senses, or starts to slowly bring her back to her senses, and she reforms. And then the lesson is, okay, I need to put a time limit on how long I remain in a certain form before I lose myself. Because even you could have her be like, as she's in that form, start to, acknowledge how nice it is and everything, but then over time, start to acknowledge herself as that form. Like, I am this way or all that, until finally something wakes her out of her dream state, if you will, or whatever. But yeah, every time I've ever heard that line, I've always thought to myself, that would be something to really build a story on down the line. But another thing I think would be great to build a story on, and hold on for a second, I go take care of you. And a bit of a shock there. Sorry, I have to shut some of the windows and stuff. It's getting a little colder now. It went from 70 to 65. So, yeah, 70 degrees to 65 degrees. Go figure. Anyway, what was it? Oh yeah, like I said, when anytime I hear that line, I'm thinking to myself, that would be something to really build upon, as far as like a story in the future would go. You know, where she tests it out and then brings herself back to reality after she hears something or something like that, or she puts like a timer maybe, and whatever the case may be, and then it's another like lesson of, okay, I still have a lot to learn about the powers. Like I mentioned, like let's say she wants to go all liquidy, and then she just ends up flooding her entire apartment or wherever she's at, and then maybe after a day or so or 2 days, something wakes her up, or brings her out of her dreamlike state, and then she, like I said, learns, okay, and basically the lesson she has to learn is, all right, maybe remaining in a certain form for a while has its limits, because she might acknowledge, hey, I start thinking of myself as that form, because that's another thing that he could add in there is, oh, what if she turns into this, acknowledges how nice it is to finally be like this for a while, but then over time she starts acknowledging herself as that, and then, like I said, something wakes her out of that out of that stupor. To me, that would be great character developing for the Demonica Veronica character, as well as even the Rebecca Exotica character, in the future, for a future story, because basically they'd still be realizing, all right, that's one lesson we've had. Well, that basically one lesson long overdue to need to be learned of, hey, it's fine to be like this, in this form or this way for a while, but not to remain that way for too long, or else you'll start thinking of yourself as that. And again, I think that would be a great story tool to work with. Another one I think is and it's a classic. It's a classic story to go with. Is the parents finding out, at least the mother, finding out basically about the child's abilities, about the daughter's abilities, because lately, he's had Veronica decide to stay in her succubus, mischievous demon elf form of Demonica, because, she lives on her own and it's a natural form to be in most of the time, since she's, living on her own, and, she has the power and ability to, have anything she wants. Like if she wants food, boom, she's got food. If she wants money to pay for a big pizza party, or if she wants to have, a stack of money so she can go out and, go out, but to order a multitude of pizzas to last for a week, she could do that. And to me, you know, and to me, I can understand, the directive to take I can understand this being a good directive to take the character, because of the fact that, like I said, she lives on her own. She only has, certain people around, where she would have to be Veronica, but most of the time she could just remain as Demonica. So to me, I think it would be a great, interesting story to work with if, like I said, they go the classic route of the parents finding out about her abilities, and if not by accident, like let's say she gets a call from her parents saying, "Hey, we're going to come visit you," and then she has to decide, okay, she has to make the, tough decision of, oh, great, now I got to go back to being plain old Veronica, and then that's what she does. But then, as her parents are there, she's fighting the urge not to change back into Demonica. She's fighting the urge not to go back into what she considers her new default form of the succubus. And basically, it would be something to me as a story-driven, not just storytelling, I should say, but also a character developing moment. If you went the classic route to where after the parents visit and she's thinking, okay, I'm in the clear, I could change back. Then all of a sudden, here comes the mom saying, "Oh, by the way, Veronica, I need to remind you of something." And then all of a sudden, she sees Veronica in mid transformation, going like, like, what's going on here? And in that way, and then from there, you can have Veronica kind of explain to the mom, not the father, because you can make the father someone that's, kind of like doesn't, want to trust, basically wouldn't understand or anything. You can have, Veronica then explain to the mom, who she knows would be more understanding, accepting of what happened. And maybe you even incorporate the mom being like, maybe, what I'm trying to say is maybe you incorporate the mom to be like, "Oh, that's interesting and everything, honey. I'm glad you found happiness here." And, maybe you can have the mom consider, maybe you can let me try eventually, or give me a taste of that, you know. And maybe because of the closeness they have, Veronica could be like, "You got it. Just name the time and a place." And there you go. There you go. That would be great character development, because one, you'd be introducing the parents, and at the same time, you'd be keeping the secret of what Veronica becomes, or who Veronica becomes, between the mother and her, because the father probably wouldn't understand. But again, it's this kind of, creative thinking of what you could do with a character like Mr. Ant-Man's Veronica Demonica character, that's gotten a lot of people like ARY01, Minor Dash Alterations, Ant Zorson, or AZ, if you will, to collaborate with him to, bring their characters over to, crossover, I should say, with the Demonica character, as well as Trouble TRO. Trouble TRO has like I've mentioned before, has a story going on right now, which is more like an epilogue sequel to his other story called Agent Pink, Agent Pink Beldrum's Revenge. But this one's called Agent Pink Beldrum's Revenge 2. And this is more of an epilogue, NFSW-like intimate moment between Demonica, if you will, and the Agent Pink character of Trouble TRO. So yeah, you can see how popular the character has become over time, that others, even those that work mostly in the computer SFM kind of style, they want to work with him. They want to bring his character into the stories. And like I said, he's still doing stories and little web comics and shorts as we speak. Like today, he just recently did another contribution to his recent Second Skin series of short comics, if you will, where he had Demonica turn into Spider Girl version of Mary Jane. So uh, so 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 yeah, so yeah, he's still working on it, and I think he's still he's still working with the still. I just read something there from Matt there on the. Could you be hold on for a sec? But basically, like I said, he's still contributing stuff, for this character to be part of, which to me is a tall tale sign that he plans to do another long web comic with her and whoever else, or just on her own, very, very soon. Because one of the abilities she has, Veronica, that is, when it comes to becoming Demonica, is not only can she become other women, not only can she become inanimate objects, vehicles, liquefy herself into a melted puddle and all that, if you will, fantasy creatures, but she also has the ability to split herself in two. And as I've mentioned before, what she does when she splits herself in two is she basically gives these two ladies their own personalities to where they acknowledge where they came from, who created them, and go from there if you get my drift. And then go from there if you can get my drift. And and to me, like I said, what I'm seeing here with this second Skin series is just a prelude to something bigger coming along the lines. Whether it's with Demonica and the Exotica character, Demonica in if not both of ARY01's characters, or AZ's Morphica character, or Turbo TRO's character, even more so than what we're getting right now. Basically, I feel we're going to get something down the lines to where maybe even at the end she splits into two again and goes from there, because literally what happens most of the time is when she splits in two, and this was with one of those latest comics, they make out with each other to the point that he did a continuation of one comic. I think it might be the one he's talking about. I'm not really sure. That Matt's talking about. I'm not really sure. But what he does, but basically what this is she splits herself into these two women, one in a devil costume, one in a Catwoman suit. And then he does like an epilogue, it's like a bonus continuation of it, to where they literally strip down or melt off the outfits and then proceed to, well, leave it to your imagination, if you will, at the end. And there's one person that commented and said, ooh, I've got a feeling Veronica is going to feel very sore in the morning, because basically the cliffhanger part is not only does these two separate entities that Veronica / Demonica become, get it on, but sometimes they'll get it on to the point that when she wakes up, Veronica, that is, as herself again in the morning, she literally has to take like an ibuprofen or something like that to get the pain off, or get rid of the pain. But yeah, the Two of a Kinds, I don't know if that's the one you're talking about, man, but yeah, basically this demonic, but yeah, Business Internet Man is one I definitely suggest checking out. His collaboration with Minor Dash Alterations, I don't know what happened there. I don't know what's going on with Minor Dash Alterations, because he had a series where he was doing the demonic, where he was basing it on Demonica. Basically, the series was named after the character, and it was crossing over with his character, Agent Ruby Walker, who basically, because of her meeting Demonica and becoming infatuated and in love with her, had a another side brought out of her. She had another side brought out of her, if you will, to the point that we find out. Okay, all right. But okay, he told me the one he was talking about was totally unrelated. But anyway, what was I? Oh yeah, basically the character has another side of her brought out because of interaction with Demonica, if you will, to the point that we find out she is that when she's given a taste of the abilities, that turns basically Demonica through her Monica form gives her a taste of what the powers of what she has, which obviously at the end of the latest chapter 10, had a permanent effect, obviously. But basically, not only does Demonica bring out another side of Ruby Walker that she didn't think she had, but she brings out a side of her that loves to just become liquid, just melt away into a puddle of goop, and that's it. And that's like the ultimate relaxation and everything. So, so yeah, again, I don't know what happened there. I don't know if personal life or personal change or whatever, life changing, life like a life change or something like that, or personal something, or school came into an effect. I don't know. So, possibly it's going to be up to someone like me to pick up the slack. I mean, I'm trying to do that with the model and the Symbian deal, but we'll see what happens here, whether or not he comes back or whatever the case may be. Another one that I think you guys should check out besides Mr. Internet Man's Demonica character is Metamorphosized to Malleability by Michelle, aka Jacalador, which, by the way, read today, that may not be her DA name, her DeviantArt name for much longer. She may change it. But Michelle recently did the 204th shift/chapter. She's already past 200, and it looks like she's building towards the engage. Not the engagement, because the engagement happened here. Basically, well, the engagement, actually, long story short, the engagement happened before shift/chapter 200, and the engagement ring happened in this recent one. She just posted 204, and it looks like she's building towards the wedding. I don't know if that'll be in 210. I don't know if that'll be 225. I'm not really sure exactly when she's planning to do that. She's even acknowledged that it's been a long time in the works and everything. So we'll see exactly where she goes with it from here. The one thing that she has kind of acknowledged to me about, but hopefully she can work her way around it. I've made a suggestion going to another place to allow her to have more of an open field. She obviously, because DeviantArt, sometimes like YouTube, constantly changes at times, its policies and things. She hasn't really been doing too much NFSW moments, if you will, or bonus chapters and shifts, if you will, between the characters. But I would assume she'll probably get back into that, because the way this one ended, yeah, I think we might see something like that real soon. Just not really sure exactly when it will happen. But if you want to check that out, as I said before, go to deviantart.com, go look up Metamorphosized to Malleability. Check out Jacalador, if you will, or Michelle, whatever her name, whatever she's going by. Check that out, and I can guarantee you will love the story, because even for up to over 200 shifts as chapters, and there are a few bonuses and side stories in there, it's been one of the best I've read, because it's not just a character gaining powers to shapeshift, melt, and all that, but it's also a very story-driven plot is what I'm trying to say, because we find out there's more to what's going on with the Briella character, who's the one that has the powers and everything. We find out that these are various nefarious organizations on the outside that want to get the power, where there's one that's trying to protect her, even though that organization that's trying to protect her still is kind of suspicious in their own right. And then you have one character that doesn't even know about her having these abilities, who is the fiance to her best friend, who's also a fellow scientist, who is trying to help her as well. And I've always felt that the Victor character, who's like I said, the fiance to her best friend, not a fiance known as Crystal Briella's fiance. This Victor character is her other friend's fiance. So he's still kind of questionable, because I'm thinking, okay, why would Briella and why would her best friend want to hide what she's doing from him if he's trustworthy? So to me, something doesn't seem to be afoot, if you know what I'm saying. But overall, though, it is a great story series. I mean, even earlier on, you see her growing in her powers, because of the fact that, there are a few chapters where she turns herself into, something, or turns herself into some kind of animal for a long period of time, and she kind of loses herself. She loses herself, to that form. In fact, the first time this happened is when she kept her best friend, over for the night, because her best friend drank a lot, and she turned herself into a blanket to cover her. and she just lulled herself to rest as well as the blanket. But that because she remained in that form for a long time, when her friend moved a little bit, to go to the restroom or whatever, she didn't think of herself as Briella. She was thinking of herself as the blanket and all that. So yeah, her character has come. The Briella character with these powers in the Metamorphosized Malleability series has come a long way, and I recommend you guys check it out. It is worth checking out over at DeviantArt.com. Like I said, just look up Jacqueline. It's kind of spelled like Jacqueline, but instead of the E, you add in DOR. If you want to Google it, go ahead. I would suggest doing that. But it's worth looking at. She also has some other series she's worked on as well. One of the ones that she recently finished up is called Unlimited or Becoming Unlimited. It's interesting because the plot of that is a guy, gained Clayface-like powers, and the result is just all over the place to the point that he almost ceases to exist because some of the personas, mostly female personas, that he creates, to disguise himself as, start to take on a life of their own, literally, to the point that, there's a scene in one of the final chapters where they literally separate from each other and cease him to be, out of existence for a temporary period. But yeah, if you want to check out some good stories, check that one out as well. But yeah, those are just two that I think you should check out, honestly. And one that, like I said before, with the Monica character, that I think, is perfect for going the two routes that I said it should go. Where she has the line of, I could stay like this forever, have her test it out, have her remain that in a certain form for a bit, and then over time, almost lose herself to it, but then remind herself, oh yeah, I'm this person, I need to change back, and then boom, changes back. And then also go that traditional old school parents find out, at least the mother finds out, route about the powers, and then maybe have the mother get in on it herself as well. But besides that, guys, can't really say any more. Just wanted to, like I say, come on here and, give you a channel update as well as talk about things off the top of my head. Not really a topics on my mind though, but just things to talk about on this Sunday afternoon, or this Sunday afternoon. Now it's Sunday evening. It's about 6:30 p.m. right now, Pacific time. But anyway, though, I want to thank you guys all for joining me in the live chat. Thank you all for joining me, here. Really appreciate it. So like I said, super chats and super stickers were open, guys. If you still want to donate in a few moments, that'd be great. But if not, Venmo at Brian-Warmer-2 is one way of doing it as well, and Cash App at BWRoses98. But I want to thank you guys for joining me here. Really appreciate it. Comment down below, guys, in the comment section, what your thoughts on some of the things that I had to talk about here. I will separate these by chapter here on, here on YouTube, so you guys can check out certain chapters down, throughout. You don't have to go through the entire video. You could just pick out a section. But until then, guys, if you want to find me elsewhere, you can find me at BW Roses Discussions on all your favorite audio platforms except for Pandora. Also, check me out at patreon.com/BW Roses. Support me there with the $1 or $3 tier. Also, check me out at Vimeo at BW Roses 98, BW Roses 98, or BW Roses, I should say. You can check me out there as well for content you can't get here on YouTube due to copyright reasons. I will have another video up there very, very soon. I hope you guys will check that out as well. And I will check out the Two Kinds webcomic that Matt told me about. I will check that out. And until next time, guys, you all take care. I hope you all had a great Sunday and everything. And tomorrow's the start officially of another work day. For me, another work week, I should say, because they can't schedule me on Sundays due to the buses don't run on Sundays or on major holidays. But yeah, tomorrow's another day for work, another work day for me, another start of the work week. That is why I'm doing my laundry right now while I can. And that's about all I can say, guys. So thank you all for joining me on this Sunday afternoon into Sunday evening. And until next time, guys, God bless, take care, and I am